Hey everyone, I get a ton of questions about knee hyperextension and exercises that can help with that. So I think it's important that we understand what hyperextension is. So basically, if you take a look at the knee, this is called extension, really about 0 degrees of extension. This is flexion of the knee. And then if we get to 0 and we go back past it, that is called hyperextension. Okay, so some people have hyperextension because they just have really loose ligaments, which are basically the cords that help hold the bones together, and those are naturally lax. And some people want to get away from this, or some people who have had a knee injury or a lower extremity injury sometimes will have episodes where the knee buckles back like that and goes into hyperextension, and it may not feel very comfortable. So one thing you can do is help to optimize the function of the muscles in your legs to help keep you from going back like that. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is the ankle. Okay, the ankle is a big player here. So when you walk and take a step, your ankle is made to bend a little bit as you come forward like this and allow the knee to bend a little. All right, but some people have such a tight calf muscle back here that when they get over the top, they get to this point, the calf starts to tighten and it pulls the knee back like this as they walk. Okay, so you really don't want this type of motion when you're walking. You want to be able to control that leg in a nice neutral position here as you step over the top. So I am huge on calf stretching exercises. I always like to use a slant board. I don't like to hang off of things. I've treated people who've injured themselves doing that. So I'm really big on using a slant board. So basically, when you are using your slant board, your hands should be on the wall. You try to keep that knee at 0 degrees or even bent a little bit, all right? And you lean forward to get a nice stretch in that calf muscle back there. I'm big on doing it for about 30 seconds at a time and then resting, and then I just switch to the other side. So this one gets a rest while the other one's working. And it's a nice, gentle stretch, a little bit of a bend in the knee, and I do that 5 times on each side. Okay, that helps to increase the mobility of that calf muscle. All right, now you need to remember that your calf muscle crosses your knee joint, and not only does it help to point your toes up, but also helps to start to bend the knee in this direction into flexion like we talked about a while ago. Also, you have these hamstring muscles that come down here that also help to hold your knee in this position. So if you take those two out of the picture, your knee is going to fall back into hyperextension, right? So let's get started with some calf strengthening exercises. And I like to simply go, right up against a wall with both legs and go right up on those tiptoes. And we're not curling the feet out like this. We're going straight up onto the big toes and back down. I like to do about 3 sets of 10 repetitions. So you do 10, take a rest, 10, take a rest, and do it 3 times. And then once you feel comfortable with that, and that gets a little bit easy, you can then go to one leg at a time. Now remember, I'll demo this way here so you can see I'm not putting the legs back like that as I'm lifting. I'm just keeping a little bit of a bend in the knee, keeping my body straight and then going up on that toe, getting the heel up off the floor. All right, so the next series of exercises I like to do, and I'll give you a little progression here, are bridges. Okay, so the reason I like to do bridges is because it activates these hamstring muscles down here as you're lifting. So it's a great exercise for your low back, for your glute muscles, and those hamstrings. So what you're doing here is you're simply going to be in this position, hands on the floor. You're picking your bottom up and then back down, picking up and then back down. Okay, so real steady, real easy, just activating these hamstrings a little bit. Now, as you become a little more advanced with that, and that may be a little bit too easy, you can take something like a stability ball like this, or even a chair, an ottoman, maybe a couch, get your feet up on the couch, and then what you'll do is you'll keep the legs straight, not in hyperextension, okay, and just a little bit of a bend, and then you're going to pick your bottom up. And now we're really activating those hamstring muscles right in here and trying to keep those knees slightly bent so that you start to train your brain to know where your joint is in space, okay? And the same thing, I would do about 3 sets of 10 of these. Now, once that becomes a little easy for you, You may want to put a little extra weight on your belly, hold a plate here, maybe some ankle weights or whatever you might have for extra weight while you're doing that. But then you can go into something that's called a bridge with a curl with the ball, where you pick your bottom up, you curl the heels under you, and then back down. And you do it all at one time, okay? So the butt goes up, the heels come in. This really activates those hamstrings big time. Okay? Again, 3 sets of 10 to 15 will really get those hamstrings fired up. And you can, like I said, put your feet on a couch or on an ottoman or something like that and just work on those hamstrings. All right, just like that. Now the next thing, which is pretty easy, notice we've done these exercises, developed them so that you can do everything at home. You don't need to be in a big gym with lots of equipment to do this. The next one is a squat. What I like to do here is bring the knees, so I'll kind of demo from this side, but then I'll turn with my back against the wall. I like to start with my back up against the wall with a little bit of a bend in the knees. I bring those feet out to a point where the toes are a little bit ahead of the knees, and then you squat a little bit. Now it's very important that you work on activating both your quadriceps and your hamstrings together while you're doing this. So you don't need to go down very far with this. Shoulders back, abs are tight, really turns everything on. I like to hold for about 30 seconds and then push yourself away from the wall and then rest. Walk around a little bit, come back, get those feet out in front of you a little. Shoulders back, abs are tight, holding that position. Now when that gets too easy, you might want to switch over to one leg and really get yourself working here. So everything around this leg is working. Your quads are the most right now, but your hamstrings are also, if you are not down too far. If you get way down here, your quads are going to be working a lot more. So just find this little quarter squat position and hold that, okay? Once that gets easy, then you want to jump into doing just kind of like an air squat like this, okay? So you're holding this position. You can be just doing little mini squats, getting close to zero. Okay, if you had kettlebells, you can do that too, dumbbells, whatever gives you a little bit of resistance will really work you in this range. You always want to avoid just snapping those knees back, because remember, we're going into that position you don't like, and when your femur is over your tibia, your muscle's not really working very hard. It's the bone that is supporting you. You're not getting a lot of muscular activation there. Once that gets pretty easy, jump onto one leg. Even just balancing on one leg is very helpful at activating everything while you're in this little semi-bent position, okay? Then you can add some little squats. And when you get really good, you can start to do something called super skaters. Balancing on one leg, left elbow, right knee, touch. You come down and squat like you're reaching for something. You're back up. Remember, we're not hyperextending here. Touching. So not only is it a balance exercise, but a really good strength exercise for your core and your hip and your leg. And it can really help to keep you out of that hyperextended position. So I hope that you enjoyed today's video. I'm Paul Marquis, PT. And if you did like our video, give us a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. Thanks.